Hello everybody, I'm being a bad YouTuber, okay? I've got something in front of me, a Calamity Gundam. I just all of a sudden decided I'm building this. Screw all the projects I have. And one of the good things about this one, let me tilt it so the lights aren't showing on it. One of the good things about this one is it will be completed quickly because I have no intention of painting it. These high-grade kits, I don't know if I'll paint them, and if I do paint them, I'm going to be experimenting, seeing how quickly I can weather them. Kind of like I'm doing with the Manroni over here, and I don't really want to touch him too much. There he is. I did some winter effects on it, and it didn't take me very long, and it looks fairly decent. I'm not done with it. I don't want to touch him because if I press too hard, it smears or it comes off. So that's one of the bad things about how I did that. Anyhow, I didn't do an out-of-box review, so I'm going to kind of talk my way through it. I'm getting blinder as time goes on, so I'm using lots and lots of cheaters. Okay? And you can see he's like a quarter built right now. There's stickers. There's other things. He looks pretty good. Now, this is a painted kit. And how do you know? Look at the chest piece right here. There is no black inside that chest piece. But when you look on here, they have painted it black. That wouldn't be too hard to do. One, I can peel the chest piece off because it's snapped in unless it's really snapped in tight. And it might be. And I might not really want to peel it off too much because I might actually scratch it. I've been a really good job of keeping the nib marks away. Sorry, hiccups. Doing a really good job of keeping the nib marks away on this one. I'm getting better and better at that. You can still see them in a few places, like right here on his arm, if I get up close. But the casual person isn't going to see those nib marks. He has one heck of a backpack I got to build yet. He's going together fairly well. There are stickers, but there are very few stickers. There's 3 right now. One here. That chest is very obviously a sticker. But when the stickers are like this, they're kind of appropriate, kind of not. I wouldn't want to paint that because I'd have to chrome it and then put a clear red over it. And that would take some work to do, especially to get all those black lines in there. And this is a high-grade kit. I mean, it's like a $15 kit. It takes a couple hours to put together. I don't know if I would bother. I might panel line him because that might be worth it. His eyes are also stickers. And this is about an hour worth of work, so there isn't too much in there. Lots of good mobility. Everything seems to be good. The joints seem to be solid. The head's the weakest part of this thing. Okay. One good thing about this kit is they've put almost all the attachment points in very good, well-hidden places. You can see right there, I had to do some sanding to remove it. It's also me experimenting with a few techniques to see if I can get rid of it. Okay. Now, walking through the direction, it's the fold-out directions you get, and they're pretty typical. They follow steps. They tell you to put things together. I haven't put the weapons together yet. That's coming up. That's supposed to be my next step, is do the weapons. But I like to build the body first, and then the weapons, so I'll probably build the legs and stuff first. The weapons are usually where these things fail, okay? And I say that because there's usually bad attachment points, so you get lots of nib marks on them. They usually do very little thought on them, and you know, the 1/100 scale Barbatos, the no-grade kit, is a pretty good example of that. Look at these attachment points right here. And they did a little or no thought on this guy, so it doesn't really, it's not extremely detailed. There's tide marks in the plastic. Some paint would help this a lot. And, you know, it wouldn't be that hard to paint. And it was a no-grade kit. And I did build it, and I used it to play around with weathering, trying some things here and there. Sooner or later, I'll post that video. But anyhow, I didn't do anything with the gun because I didn't like it. This guy right here, it looks like the guns might be okay because it looks like they put the seam lines for the parts down a seam line, but I'm not sure of that yet, so we're going to find out. Also, there is very little red pieces on here, one. So when you're looking at red parts on here, like on the sight, and you see some down there, and you see some on the sides of the guns, those are painted. Those are not stickers or decals. But it did come with, and it's down here in the bottom of the box, it did come with this, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'll have to get the Japanese translation out. I don't think those are stickers. I think those are dry rubs, and you usually don't get dry rubs in high-grade kits. I'll have to look and see what they are. They're either dry rubs or water slides, but I really don't think those are water slides because this backing is on there pretty good. So I think they're dry rubs. I'm going to have to look and see what they are. Okay? But I'm liking this kit. It's pretty fun to put together. It's a little unusual. It's got some big guns on it and a little bit of work, and you could clean this up. Like, it wouldn't be too hard to put black paint inside these crevices in here and make it look good. It would have been better before I attached it, but anyhow, I'll come back and let you know what it looks like at the end. I haven't seen the figure yet, but it's probably there somewhere. Okay, one other thing I've done is I've made a travel kit. Okay? I don't have a lot of time in this room. Life is just not allowing it right now. So in order to get the enjoyment of building, and I'm doing no paint kits and doing light weathering, and again, I'm trying to experiment around, see how fast I can build things here and there. I made a travel kit, so I can, when the family gets together, they're watching TV, kids are playing and not really watching TV, I can bring a box downstairs with me and bring this with me. Work never lightens up, so I don't take it to work. There might be a few times here and there where it will, but right now it's not. I have too much demand at work. So, what's in my travel kit? Open it up. Okay. Now I got this case and I got some of these. It was a Gundam starter kit for Gundam tools. And inside it did have these nippers, and I still have the plastic sleeve that go on top of them. So it did have these. It says Mr. Hobby. Didn't have this. Definitely didn't have the God hands in there. It did have the tweezers. I don't remember if it had this file. It may have had this file. And it had a Gundam marker. Now, I have kind of done away with the Gundam markers. I've tried them. I didn't like them. Other people have been like, yeah, you should keep trying them. I must be using them wrong or something. I would much rather use this stuff than a Gundam marker because it's much easier to use for me. Okay, I've also used some other types of pens. Let's see if I can find one over here. I've got some stuff in the way, so it might not be easy to do. Here's the Gundam marker that came with it, model kit marker. But I would rather use these Micron pens. One, they fit in the panel lines. Two, what is it called? I'm looking over there. It's the same thinner that works with oil paints. We'll work with this and remove them. This is permanent ink, so once it cures, unless you use that thinner, it's not coming off. It won't come off with your fingers or something. So this is really good, and it comes in different colors. So I like the Micron pens. The Gundam markers, though, you can see it's still plastic wrapped. And I do have a complete set of Gundam markers for different colors around here. Oh, it's not. You can open it. Apparently I opened it without the plastic wrap. But I just wasn't a big fan of this. I know some are water-based. Some are alcohol-based. Again, I just never really got anything out of it, so I'm putting that away. I carry a hobby knife in there because occasionally I use this. Basically, I'm using these two for separating parts, and I'm getting better and better at it and leaving tiny, tiny nib marks. This right here, if you watch the Sergeant Frog video, I showed this in the Sergeant Frog video. It's a glass nail file. These are on Amazon for $3 or $4, so they're not very expensive. The problem is it's too wide right here. Okay? When I'm trying to remove a nib mark and not leave any damage around that nib mark, this is better. So I've been using these, and I have two different coarse grits of these. I got these at Hobby Lobby. They're in the model section, and they're really not that expensive. You get big packs of them pretty cheap, and they last quite a while. Okay? This is about the same grit as the white one, so it's kind of a fine grit. It's a nail file, so it's not designed to really remove stuff quickly. The good thing about it is it doesn't wear out, just like these metal ones. But the metal ones are always way too harsh. They're good for removing big, heavy nib marks. But if I want to move something lightly, this would work. Now, if I can only find one of these this wide, I would buy it in half a heartbeat. But I'm afraid that if you get a glass nail file this size, it's going to be pretty brittle and break easy. That's why they don't do that. Plus, women are buying these, so, you want something good size for this. Okay? And it does work good on fingernails. I have to admit that. Works better than the emery boards do. Anyhow, it works pretty good. And again, this side isn't very harsh. This side is harsher. just like these little sanding sticks, and it's about the same. So I'll use it on big flat pieces because I can get in there and use it. But outside that, up to the little tip, it does work since it is pointed, and the nail file goes all the way to the tip, so I can get in there with the little tip. So it's useful, so I'm carrying it around. Anyhow, that's the extent of my travel kit. You don't need much. You don't need many tools for these things, especially if you're not really painting them. And if you want to get into panel lining, the Gundam markers, a lot of people use them. I would rather use the Tamiya accent colors because they're designed for it. Or the Mr. Let me get this one over here. I'm reaching all the way across the screen. And these are Mr. Hobby. Okay, they're color filters, but Mr. Weathering color, they do work the same way. You can get the same end results with these. I use the weathering colors on the Death Star, so if you want to see me using those, you can look at the Death Star. And I did use this on a Death Star. Not Death Star, Star Destroyer, the Rebel Star Destroyer. So these things are useful if you want to work quickly. Anyhow, there's a good travel kit for you. I want to go because I want to work on either this guy, Calamity Gundam, or this thing. And this is just one step. And this thing here has like 30 different sprue. Huge number of sprue to build this. This is a Black Knight company, is the name of the company. It's a Zoids Panther Liger. Okay. And I got the directions here. It is one of those kind of Chinese things. The plastic is real brittle. And it's nothing like a Bandai kit. And that's kind of the reason why I started this guy. I wanted to see the difference between the Bandai kits and this. This is nothing like a Bandai kit. Parts don't fit sometimes. I have to drill holes. I am missing a sprue. Completely missing a sprue, but you can't tell. The only part that's missing goes here, and it's probably a yellow clear part. So he has yellow eyes, but you know, you really don't notice it. And all I built is his head. And there's like 40 pages left to the directions. So this guy's going to take a while. But look at the detail on it. You know, you might poo-poo it, but it's got some decent detail on there. And if you want to detail paint on this guy, you have all day long to do it once you put him together. The same thing's true in there inside the cockpit. Now, you can tell it's not a Zoids kit because they come with pilots that would fit in there, and this doesn't have that pilot. I'm sure I could find some on eBay and buy some and put one in there. But there's some pretty good detail on this kit, and I'm sure there's like a view screen or something that goes on here, but I'm missing that part. Anyhow, just a quick update. Why I made a travel tool kit, so I can work on things when I'm not in here. I can take some things downstairs. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. Well, I decided to build some of the weapons. Okay, the backpack. Now, that's going to give him a pretty good front profile right there. The weapons actually look pretty nice. And I can tell Bandai did some thought on this high-grade kit. It might have been someone's favorite, the design crew's favorite or something, sorry. But then I hit this backpack right here. Pretty bad seam. I tried to polish it and clean it up. You can tell I polished it. I did a little bit of sanding and tried to polish it. I put some glue on there. That seam is persisting and being bad. I didn't quite get the nibs right, even across the top. All the rest of it, there's a big seam line running down the center. Now, you can see some bad nib marks on the back of the guns too, but it's on the underside. Okay? So as long as you're not putting this thing in a contest, it'll be fine. Other thing I don't seem to like is these are a little loose, but there's ways to fix that. Put a little super glue on the joint there and let it dry, and then put the thing back on and it'll tighten up a lot. It's one of those little tricks. But up until this point, everything's been going together really well. The whatever these are, bazookas or whatever on his back, went together really nicely. The only real bad seams along the bottom edge of them. I mean, there's a seam along the top, but that almost looks like it's supposed to be there. Okay, now it is flat across here. You could putty and fill that real easily. If you're going to paint this thing, you can make these seams disappear, because the only seams I've really had to deal with so far are here. And, of course, the one on the arm right here. One on the arm's pretty bad, too. It's a high-grade kit. You're not going to get beauty. Okay? You have to get a master grade for that. And I've shown this guy a lot. There's a nib mark right there, and I could have done so much better on that nib mark. In fact, I know I can clean that nib mark up. But you don't really see seam lines on this guy very much. You don't see too many nib marks. I was not using the God hands correctly on this guy when I built him. Okay. But it has lots of moving parts, lots of things that look good. I mean, the back of the legs back here, isn't that kind of cool? You pull one up, they all come open. I even broke one of these and it still works. So he's not a master grade kit. You're not going to get the perfection that you get on the master grade kits. And I wouldn't say perfection, but the attention to detail is definitely much higher on the master grade kits. The only other thing I'm going to do before I go to bed, quit for the night, is I'm going to build the bazooka over here. I was looking at it and I don't want it to get too torn up, because Bandai actually put a coating on that like they do some of the other kits. And that's why I said there seems to be some attention to this one that isn't on some kits. There's a nice finish on this, and that's a coating. That's not the color of the plastic, and I'll show you why in a little bit. I'm going to get this done and get doing what I need to do. Here's how I know that's a coating. You can see the nice shiny surface there, and when you look at the end, it's white. Okay, the bazooka cleaned up pretty nice. I don't like that end right there, but the only way to fix it is to sand it down, and it's supposed to have that notch in the back. I wish that was an open barrel, if that is the way it points, I think. I don't like that sight. It's a sticker, and it's one place where I didn't like the sticker. It was a little rough to apply. I got it on there fairly well. I'm trying to decide if I want to take it off and paint it. That would be pretty simple to paint. This part can come out. I can remove it pretty easily. So you just paint the outside edge white, paint the inner stripe red, and you pretty much got that done. The sticker will come off without too much difficulty. That's one thing about those foil stickers. They stick really well. But you want them off, they come off. You want them on, they come on. And it's how it works. So let's see, make sure you put this back on correctly. Okay. But anyhow, I am going to clean up. I'll be back later once I get the legs put together and the shield, so we can see what he looks like when he's done.